Before graduating from the J School in 2009, Dan Oshinsky would have never thought of venturing to the Reynolds Journalism Institute. The institute imposed an intimidating effect on students, a closed-door effect for professionals only. 2 years later, Oshinsky has returned to the J School under the RJI Fellowship to advance his research for his online business, Story.us, and to open new doors.
I know we're up here in RJI and it's big and scary on the second floor, but the door is open.
Story.us is a hyper-topical news service which specializes in extensive coverage of stories that go undercovered. Oshinsky's interest in resurfacing stories that were buried developed after traveling to Biloxi, Mississippi, an area still damaged by the BP oil spill.
I wanted to do something that I thought could have some impact, something I thought could bring attention to stories that were getting undercovered, especially areas that were getting undercovered.
Instead of standing from a distance and waiting for a response, Oshinsky took action. He quit his job at a Texas news station and moved to Mississippi, where he began taking pictures and writing stories about the affected residents.
When I went down to Biloxi, I really just showed up with a notebook and a camera and said, "Here I am, who would like to talk to me?" And it was very much an experiment to see if people would. It turns out people were really interested in sharing their stories. They felt their stories weren't being told and wanted to share them with someone. I was just the guy.
Oshinsky's hyper-topical element of Story.us allowed him to build an organic chemistry with the Biloxi residents. He says he was curious and open to listening.
I was curious about everything, and that really fed into the storytelling process. What I was looking for was just people who had a story they wanted to tell, who had a compelling story, and who had the time to share it with me. I found a lot of people really did want to share their stories and were willing to take their time to share their stories. For me, it's just what I learned here in Missouri. You spend more time listening than you do talking, you find good stories.
Like any new business, Oshinsky is dealing with the troubles of entrepreneurship.
This is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. And it requires a lot of patience and a lot of passion. And it took me a long time to really hone down on something that I was interested in, that I was willing to do.
Oshinsky says that he is currently working on getting the remaining logistics taken care of, like contracts and lawyers, so that Story.us can launch May 1st, 2012.
The game plan for this year is pretty simple. The first thing that I'm looking at is just trying to get all the business logistics taken care of with the lawyers, the accountants, and all the unglamorous stuff. And then what RJI is being incredibly helpful with is they're helping me get in front of publishers, they're helping me get in front of the people who publish these types of stories, who publish companies like Story. And we're going to find a partner to do a test bureau with. I'm going to send a couple reporters out into the field to do reporting like what I was doing in Biloxi. And they'll be out there, and we'll be taking their stories and syndicating them to a publishing partner or two, just as a test project to work out the kinks. And then using that as a springboard to land additional publishing partners with the goal of a full launch, reporters on the road, covering issues that are important to Americans, covering issues that matter in our lives, and putting that on the road May 1st, 2012.
Oshinsky advises all journalism students to make use of the many resources that the J School provides. He knows from experience how intimidating it can be speaking to a professor, so he's provided a solution. He calls them Berg Chats.
I'm hosting weekly drinking hours, actually, over at the Heidelberg, which is my way of offering some time for students to sit down in a friendly place and talk about anything they want to talk about in journalism. If they just want to talk about an idea that they have for a business, or they want to talk about a story idea that they have, or something they want to talk to their professor about but they're afraid to, or they're just looking for interesting journalism conversation, I'm hosting these weekly chats. I'm calling them Berg Chats. I'm sending out invites and people can sit down with me and I'll buy you a beer. Now, if you're not of age, then I buy you something else, Shirley Temple or whatever.
Oshinsky says that although the stress of creating something new in journalism is overwhelming, he is encouraged each day he walks into his office.
There are days when I get down on myself and down on the business, and I need a little bit of reassurance. But I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could fill these giant walls with a reminder of, why I'm doing what I'm doing. If there's any success I've had, it's because I have just an incredible group of people behind me who believe in me and believe in Story, and I wanted to hear again from them. So I'm asking people to send me postcards this year. I'm Dan Oshinsky, one of the 2011-2012 Reynolds Fellows here at the Missouri School of Journalism.